Hello, everyone. I'm Will Martin, and this is the first episode of Pointed Questions, a podcast segment where we get into the really gritty reality of a guest and get their picture of what's going on. My guest today is MB Brandon Wayne, who is running for U.S. House of Representative District 4 for the state of Alabama. Mr. Wayne, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
No problem. District 4 is in Alabama, and his opponent will be Congressman Robert Aderholt.
If I make it through the primary.
And
There's going to be a few, so we're going to have to put somebody up there that's going to challenge him. We can't just let him go unopposed, and we can't just throw anyone up there because that's not going to work. We have to have someone that's going to do something. So.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to start out with our little bit of a history segment. It's been a while. My first memories of you were at Bobby Malone's band room back at Etowah High School. Do you still carry any music lessons into your political debut, or do you still play drums at all?
Well, I've played my entire life. And like everybody always says, your body's an instrument. So I'm trying to not go music-wise on this. I'm trying to be more serious, trying to be what you expect. But it's kind of hard not to be a musician, not to be on stage and then to take everything away. You nearly feel naked for a while. But I'm getting used to it.
Starting to get used to it.
Fill it out.
When we were talking in the preliminary section of this, you'd mentioned that you'd done construction. How long did you work construction after graduation, and how long did it take you to run into the effects of the 2008 recession in that line of work?
Okay, well, you got to realize I grew up construction. I'm a third generation contractor. My grandfather, now when my daddy and uncle were kids, they got to grow up in the restaurant business. But about a year before I was born, my grandfather started doing construction. So every summer, even though I was little, when I was 4, I was big enough to tote a block. So he had me toting blocks. And I'd follow him around and go, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And that's how you learn, and that's how I learned. So construction was always the summer job. And once I got into college, my grandmother got sick, and my grandfather had to retire and to be with her. So I just took over. So we're looking at about 06. I started being the man of it. Now, every winter's hard for any construction worker. I mean, a lot of times
it's a very seasonal job.
Right, but we were luckily we had a few real estate companies or people that own multiple houses, rental houses, that kind of kept us through the winter. So it didn't affect us as bad as it did a lot of businesses. I mean, we had a slowdown, but as far as having to worry about unemployment or anything like that, we didn't starve. Now we starved last year. So it's just a matter of timing, and if everybody's having to worry about buying groceries, they're sure not going to put siding on their house or a metal roof on their house.
This is true.
So
this is true.
The economy definitely plays a role, but also who you are and how you work plays a role too. So we were always lucky.
In Alabama in general and in the South as a whole, this is in District 4, Aderholt sat for a good long while now. What made you want to run against an incumbent in a state known for electing and supporting incumbents?
Right. Why are you an idiot? No.
Well, I could tell you a lengthy one on that, but that's not what the podcast is
that's
about.
That's because you know me. No way. Or you've met me or know my history. No. Honestly, at the beginning, I couldn't answer that. In the very beginning, I had something started pushing me that way. And take it from the fact that I've never had this idea. This has never been a goal of mine in my life.
Yeah, I remember you had a stint for student government, but it was never something other than...
it was more of a show. I was up on stage going, if you don't vote for me for SDA president, you'll end up in a van down by the river. Now, that's not going to happen, but it was more of a...
comedy thing at the time.
It was more of a look at me kind of thing. But it was Easter Sunday. I went out and visited my grandmother's grave, and I was walking back, and I was thinking about how the world was going. You know, Trump had been in office. This was Easter, so he'd been in office a couple of months. And things just wasn't working out the way I thought they were going to work out. And that being said, I started looking at our district more than I
Mhm.
really ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have an injury, so I can't work as hard as I used to doing construction. And I'm one of those that can't sit and watch someone work. I'm going to jump in the middle of it.
Mm.
And not being able to do that, I've been refocusing myself on other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to looking at our district, looking at the past, and I had started noticing a pattern develop where Adderholt's choices didn't necessarily reflect District 4. Their opinions, the way they felt about certain issues, it seemed like he was just
Out of touch.
out of touch and maybe in the pocket. I'm not going to guess, but if you vote for something that about 10 or 15% of the majority want, there's got to be a reason. I don't know if that's how he personally feels and that's why he voted for it or what, but I've always been told if you represent a group, you need to represent the group in whole and not just a specific small portion. And it kind of didn't seem like he was doing that.